Max Verstappen has won 4 world titles and 71 races, yet he is asking if he still wants to race. That question from the most dominant driver of this era is the spark that could reshape the entire sport. McLaren is not just winning right now, they are assembling a new powerhouse while others scramble to react. The paddock feels the shift, the tension, the sense that something massive is building. But what if the real story is not about which team Max drives for next, but whether the new rules have broken his love for the fight entirely? The car Max drives in 2026 does not feel like Formula 1 anymore. He called it Mario Kart. Others whisper anti-racing. The energy deployment rules have created speed differences so extreme they sent Oliver Behrman into the wall at 50G. On April 9th, 2 press releases revealed a critical move. Red Bull confirmed Gianpiero Lambiase would leave when his contract ends. McLaren used a different word, spatstens, meaning at the latest. That single word is paddock code for early release talks already underway. Lambiase has been Max's race engineer for 10 years, guiding him through every title. Now he is heading to McLaren as chief racing officer. But here is what the paddock is not talking about. When the inner circle starts planning for life after Red Bull, it signals a deeper shift. Max has not said he is leaving. He has not said he is retiring. But when a 4-time champion asks, is it worth it every morning, the answer matters more than any contract clause. McLaren's recruitment drive is real. Rob Marshall arrived, now Lambiase follows. The pieces are moving. And that is where the story gets complicated. The next section reveals the regulation changes forcing every team and every driver to reconsider what racing means in 2026. The 2026 rules prioritize energy management over driver skill. Max's Mario Kart comment is a warning. Speed differences caused Behrman's Suzuka crash. If the FIA does not act by April 20th, the sport risks losing its soul. This is not just a car problem. It is a fundamental change in how racing works. Red Bull needs 1 second per lap to match McLaren. Tire wear is up by 0.3 seconds per lap, with Kimi Antonelli at 72 points and Max at 12. The math is brutal. Max must outscore Antonelli by 15 points per race to reach second by Hungary. That gap requires car performance, not hope. The April vote could change everything. This crisis hits Max hardest. He built his career on pure racing. Now, software defines the limit. When the sport feels unfamiliar, the question shifts from can I win to do I want this? That psychological weight matters more than lap time. The next section explains why Lambiase's move changes everything. Gianpiero Lambiase is the voice behind Max's 4 titles. He is leaving Red Bull for McLaren as chief racing officer. This role was created for him. Red Bull said he leaves when his contract ends. McLaren said, at the latest. That difference signals early release talks. This is not a staff change. It is a power shift. Jos Verstappen knew weeks ago. He urged Lambiase to take the chance. This advice from the inner circle signals preparation for life after Red Bull. Lambiase provided stability for a decade. But his departure removes that anchor. For a driver who values loyalty, this is a massive disruption. The bridge to McLaren is being built. The chief racing officer role gives Lambiase influence over McLaren's entire operation. This authority was not available at Red Bull. If Max leaves, he joins a familiar face in power. The timing suggests alignment, not just career growth. The next section explores Max's own words and why they matter more than rumors. Max stopped talking about setup and started talking about joy. After Japan, he admitted the fun was gone. In China, he compared cars to video games. These are emotional warnings. When a driver must convince himself to get out of bed, the problem is deeper than aerodynamics. The spark fueling 4 titles is fading. His language has shifted from performance to existential doubt. He asks if it is worth it. Jenson Button noted that drivers need joy to perform. Without it, even the best car fails. Max has not announced retirement, but his silence speaks louder than press releases. The man who lived for the fight is weighing the cost. This state changes how we view rumors. Switching teams might not solve unhappiness with the sport itself. A new garage does not guarantee passion. The core issue is whether the current formula allows him to race as he loves. Until then, contract talks are secondary. The next section reveals Red Bull's structural collapse. Red Bull is losing its architects. Adrian Newey left for Aston Martin. Christian Horner was dismissed in July 2025. Helmut Marko lost operational power. Jonathan Wheatley moved to Audi. Rob Marshall joined McLaren. This is an exodus. The leadership group that delivered 4 titles has vanished. The dynasty is unraveling. The impact is severe. With Newey and Marshall gone, aerodynamic philosophy is lost. Development is months behind McLaren. The new principle speaks of fight, but words do not generate downforce. Martin Brundle called it rebuilding a plane while flying it. The team fixes a car while replacing the builders. Stability is gone. This collapse leaves Max alone. No Horner manages politics. No Marko bridges gaps. The support network has disintegrated. For a driver who thrives on trust, this instability is toxic. Every delay pushes Max closer to his exit clause. The team struggles to exist as a coherent unit. The next section examines the driver rumored to replace him. Oscar Piastri is not leaving. His contract runs to 2028. He called the extension a clear decision. Rumors of a Max swap rely on an unconfirmed report about a preference clause. McLaren has never confirmed this. It remains a ghost story. Piastri continues to perform, leading races and challenging for podiums. He is secure. Mark Webber's reduced track presence fuels theories, but this reflects natural evolution. As drivers mature, managers step back. Pedro Matos now handles track duties. This signals trust, not discord. Piastri is no longer a rookie needing supervision. He is an established winner managing his own career. Webber remains engaged strategically. Dropping Piastri for Max ignores logic. Piastri is 3 years younger. He has his first title ahead of him. Ralf Schumacher's swap theory was labeled extremely unlikely. McLaren supports both drivers. Piastri outqualifies Norris by 0.18 seconds on average. Replacing a rising star with a veteran makes little strategic sense. The next section reveals McLaren's true strategy. Zak Brown confirmed interest in Max in early 2025, but inquiry is not negotiation. A Dutch journalist reported Brown's fascination, yet no formal offer exists. McLaren publicly supports Piastri and Norris. To assume a deal is imminent ignores the gap between curiosity and commitment. Brown keeps options open, but has not pulled the trigger. Hiring Lambiase strengthens technical leadership regardless of Max. The chief racing officer role links McLaren to a champion's mindset. Andrea Stella is contracted to 2030, providing stability Red Bull lacks. McLaren builds a machine to win championships with any driver. Acquiring Marshall and Lambiase signals long-term strategy, not just a headline chase. Leaked data shows McLaren's 2026 development is ahead of schedule. This advantage reduces urgency to sign Max. If the car is competitive, McLaren can wait. Time is on their side. Every week Red Bull struggles increases McLaren's leverage. Brown's patience is strategic. The next section maps the dates that will force a decision. The next 100 days define Formula 1. April 20th is the FIA vote on rule changes. If approved, Red Bull might recover. If not, Max's frustration deepens. The European swing in May and June includes Monaco and Barcelona. If Red Bull cannot close the 1 second gap here, the exit trigger becomes inevitable. The Hungarian Grand Prix in late July is the deadline. If Max is not second in standings, his clause activates. He can leave without penalty between August and October. This is contractual reality. During this window, he can negotiate with anyone, but the decision rests on desire. His silence and GT racing suggest evaluation. Only he decides. Contracts are written in ink, but legacies are written in moments. These months decide if Max defends his throne or walks away. If he stays, Red Bull must rebuild. If he leaves, the grid shifts. If he quits, the sport loses its center. There is no middle ground. The clock ticks. The world watches.